What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, the official Cliffy J, and I'm back with another video. And today, I'm going to be giving you guys another challenge video. And today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my top 10 current challengers right now. And as you see on the screen, it says somewhat active because I am going to definitely take activity into account and how much a player is like on more recent seasons and how many seasons like they're going to do in the future, and things like that. And I'm doing just the men right now. Next week I will do a list for the women. So without a further ado, let's get into today's list and the criteria behind my list. The criteria behind this list, or I don't know if behind is the right word, but yeah, the criteria that I'm using for this list is mainly going to be based off of performances, in recent seasons. That's the main thing. Then I'm looking at your overall skill set in the competitions, overall skill set, and then just straight up how good you are at politics, because I think it is a separation between how good someone performs versus how good they actually are. And I don't know if people fully understand what I'm saying, but like you can perform certain like level in certain things, but that's because of who you're against and because of the rules and different things like that. Versus like overall skill set is just what you're usually good at, what is something that you're usually good at no matter the competition, or how your overall skill set just kind of stacks up in general. So I'm looking at recent performances, which is the most important. I'm looking at the overall skill set. Then I'm looking at politics. Then I'm looking at their potential, like how much potential they have going, into the next couple seasons. And then activity. Like I said, activity is definitely going to matter. How many seasons have you done recently? How many seasons are you going to be on? So just to give some honorable mentions for the men, and also going to give the reason why I'm not going to have them, as you guys see on the screen. Got Paulie, USA 2, definitely soured my opinion of Paulie, but that was mainly because he didn't perform good before the elimination against Johnny. He just wasn't really performing very good in the dailies. So recent performances, because if not, he probably would be on this list. He definitely was an elite challenger. Horacio, new guy, and same with Ed. These guys are both new guys that just are hopping on the scene. In my opinion, they're both pretty well rounded, very strong athletes. I'm just gonna talk over the planes. I don't even care. I'm recording this video right now, y'all. So yeah, because y'all can hear me. That's why it matters. I don't even know if y'all can hear the plane, but yeah. So we got Horacio and we got Ed. They're both very good competitors, very athletic, well rounded. In my opinion, they both are. Um, it's just the politics. Either they didn't implement the politics, or it just didn't work out on the past season that we're on. Neither of them are political players, and that to me is a problem, and that will definitely take you off this list. Because as a competitor, I probably will put both these guys on the list. I think they might be current top 10 male challenge competitors, but politics. And Derek Kaczynski, yeah, definitely inactivity, because Derek is an elite competitor. And the thing is, yeah, he was on All Stars 3, but I guess he was on All Stars 3. Really, should I have Derek on here to do that? But he wasn't that good on All Stars 3. So I guess I can say, all right. So yeah, for Derek, I'm gonna say inactivity and recent performances, because I guess you couldn't say he's really been that inactive, but it's other dudes that have played more recent seasons and stuff like that. And he really wasn't elite on All Stars 3. He wasn't his regular normal self. Because, anyone that knows the challenge know Derek is one of the most consistent competitors, of all time. Um, Darrell, we already know what Darrell's biggest issue is in the more modern day is his political prowess. He's not a political player, so he always is in certain positions that he probably wouldn't be if he was more political. But he is great physically. He's always going to be in great shape, and he competes well. That's one thing. Even when people want to try to disrespect Darrell, it's like he still competes well. And then we have Jay, and this is Jay from 39, Jay from Survivor. My thing is with Jay is that he has a lot of the skills that, like what he showed in the past 2 seasons, that he is a political player. He is an active political player, even if he's not making the correct move every time. He's an active political player. He's clearly a good athlete, and he is well rounded. It's just like physically, I don't think he's there in terms of strength to match up with some of the other guys. And then just like, I don't know if he's as good of an athlete as he needs to be on this list. So I'm not gonna put him on this list, but I could see an argument for him being on here. Just based on the fact that he's pretty much good. He's the same with like Devin. That's the thing with like someone like Devin, very well rounded. It's just I don't know if he's good enough at other things for me to put him on the list. So I would say overall skill set is the main thing with Jay and Devin, and then obviously with Jay, he's 35 years old, and he plays the way he does. So it's like you're never winning this show, bro. Like he can win, but he's not good like that. Even if he does win, you know what I'm saying? It's like one of those situations. Like he's 35 years old, not an elite competitor, not at the same level as other competitors, that are coming on the show in the past recent seasons. And he's 35 years old, so he has no real room to improve. So I don't really see him being a top 10 challenger for me as of now, or even going into the next couple seasons, the next couple years. So I could see him having some top 10 performances. That's why he's an honorable mention, because I could see him and Devin doing something that makes me like, I bet. Like, they could definitely be in the top 10, but I don't think they've solidified it in my mind, so I got to have him as honorable mentions. And at number 10, we have the reigning male champ. I'll say reigning male champ because I almost said reigning champ because technically he is the reigning champ. But yeah, we have the reigning champ, Emmanuel. In my opinion, he was a top 3 male performer on Battle for a New Champion. I haven't done my full analysis on the season, so I can see the arguments for like Cory and other players to be over him, and like Ed and Horacio, and like I could see argument for a lot of players to be over him and stuff like that. But personally, I would have him as a top 3 male performer of Battle for a New Champion. I've already said I'm not going to give a damn about these plans, guys, because you guys should be able to hear me. So I'm just gonna just spit this video because I don't got that much time. So he's also shown to be really, really good socially. And when I say really, really good, I'm saying he's just pretty good socially. Like he integrates well with alliances. And on top of that, like he was like the last rookie standing, I'm pretty sure, on um on SLA. So I just think that the combination between that and then him being able to basically skate throughout the entire season, yeah, he had some prior relationships, but he also did make friends and integrate with some of the women, integrate with some of the men and things like that. So I feel like I got to put Emmanuel at number 10 because to me, his only real weakness is experience. He needs more experience. I could also see physical being maybe a weakness, but we really haven't seen him as much in physical things. But he's shown that he is like not a weak competitor. Like, you can't really argue that he's a weak dude. So I do think I probably should have put size or strength maybe as a neutral because we really don't know 100%. But at the end of the day, I say he's number 10 on this list. And I think it's pretty solid that he's number 10. I don't think that there's really a very solid argument for anybody else to be on the list over him personally. Moving on to number 9, we have Chris. And a reason that I'm gonna just say this, a reason I don't have Chris higher is it's inactivity to a certain extent. Like he's not gonna be on these next couple seasons for sure. He's not gonna be on the next couple seasons. So I think it's a very high chance he doesn't even do a season in 2024. He's not really from what I know, he's not even gonna like come back to the challenge like that. If he does, it's gonna be like, one time appearances every once in a while, right? So I don't really think he needs to be on this list because of what he did in USA 2, because he was arguably the best male performer on the season. I would argue that he was, but I could see the argument for Fessel and stuff like that, and even an outside argument for someone like Bananas, right? So I think he was the best male performer on USA 2, and he really has no competitive weaknesses. He's strong. He's an athlete. He has the endurance, obviously, and he's smart and he's well rounded in the more carnival games they do on the challenge. So, but yeah, gotta have him at number 9. Number 8, we got the first old guy. Spoiler alert, might be another old guy on this list. It's John. John. In my opinion, he was a top 4 male performer on Ride or Dies and USA 2. And when I say a top 4 or a top performer, I'm meaning your competition abilities in what you did in the dailies compared to everybody else. If you have elimination wins, I'm gonna, take that into account and factor it in and make me, if if one person, another person are very close in terms of their daily performance, and one player has maybe more performances where they clear cut perform better, I would put them higher. But if the other person has multiple elimination wins, I would definitely maybe even it out, or like that would make it closer. And then the final also definitely matters. Someone can be a top four daily performer in my mind, and then they go into the final and they clear cut outperform, the second and third best daily performer, or even the first best daily performer on the season. Then I would raise them up. Maybe not have them the best performer of the season, but I would definitely have them as a top performer of the season. That's kind of like how I feel about Jordan on Dirty 30. I don't think he was the a top two male daily performer in the challenges, but he destroyed CT and Derek, who were the top two. I don't think he was actually top three, but he destroyed them, who were the other top male daily performers in the challenges. So I feel like by the Dirty 30, I personally feel like Jordan was the best overall performer, Jordan or Derek, obviously. Yeah, the neutral to me for Johnny is puzzles and his size, because I don't think either of those are, like, he's good enough at puzzles to get them done against weaker competition, and even some good players. Obviously, he's done it. And then his size could be an issue against some of the bigger, stronger guys. Like, he is a smaller dude to a certain extent, so can't have him too highly on this list because he is an old guy, and John has never really been that elite of like an athlete. Like, he's always been a good competitor, but he's never really been that elite of an athlete. So at an advanced age, he's not the same. He is very experienced, very well rounded, and has points in the game where he's very great politically. So got to have him in the top 10, but it's a couple things that make me hold him back, obviously. These other next guys we're going to go through are nearly flawless competitors and the nearly flawless challengers, and the issues they have are going to be similar issues to John. So it's just, what do I prefer? You know what I'm saying? It's really this next tier. We're not going to go into a tier with John and these next couple guys that are all good competitors and good challengers, like politically. But it's going to be something that holds them back from being like in the top three. We got Fessel at number 7. Very similar thing to Bananas, where it's just certain little things, because these guys are very good challengers. They have the political ability, and they have the challenge ability to do it in dailies, finals, and eliminations. He's obviously one of the best athletes on the show currently, one of the best athletes in the show's history, in my opinion. And he's proven himself in math and puzzles to a certain extent, more math, but and puzzles to a certain extent, while also being a player that I seen build relationships. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he has Big Brother, but he also has built relationships and stuff like that with certain players. So, and he's not like type of guy to let people just sit up and control him. You know what I'm saying? So, I think Fessy is going to have a lot of tools to do very well in the coming seasons. I stand on this that he will win the challenge eventually. I agree with him on that. I think that's not a fact, but it's like as long as he keeps coming, he'll win. It'll happen. Damn, these plans are crazy, y'all. But I am not trying to wait. I am not trying to wait because I actually got to record another video after this. But yeah, um, neutral. I think he's obviously not a good eater, and his endurance is questionable. I don't think endurance is as big of an issue as some people try to make it seem for Fessy, but one of his finals perform. I'll say one of his finals performances makes it just seem like he has terrible endurance, and that was the high altitude one, which is why I think that as a weakness, you still have to include high altitude until he shows that he can do it. I think that I always included high altitude as a weakness for CT until he showed during double agents. I think that was the first time he did a high altitude final when he was, past his prime or whatever. I always looked at that as a weakness. And I still kind of look at it as a slight weakness, but we don't really know. He was able to do it in that one. So gotta give him the credit for that. So as soon as Fessy shows me that he can do a high altitude final, he won't really have any weaknesses because by that point he'll have the experience too. Number 6, I just mentioned the guy's name. I got C Tizzle, man. And a big reason I got CT at 6 right in front of Fessy is it's just because I trust CT more if he just gets in shape during the season. If CT gets in shape during the season, I'll just look at him as a better player than Fessy, just all around the board, a better politician. Now, as a competitor, I think it's pretty much even where I might slightly lean Fessy, but the politics is so much close, like so much more into CT's lane. He's completely cracked the code politically. So I think I would have to take a in shape CT, and we all know CT can get in shape during the season, bro. So if you can just get in shape during the season, he's gonna be that dude. and he's one of the top competitors on Double Agents and SLA. And him being dad by CT, I think, is actually an advantage throughout the season because people are not going to look at you as bigger of a threat. Now, I do think that in recent seasons we've seen that doesn't. It's not how it works. Like he's still a big threat, so people are going to maybe be like, "All right, we got to get him out of here," even though he is dad by CT. But he still is one of the most well-rounded competitors in challenge history. So I just mean, as long as he's in somewhat shape, I mean, he can surely be a top six, maybe even top five competitor, if not the best. Like we all know CT's level, man. I ain't got to go too much on it. But neutral, I think, is him being, dad by CT. Obviously, because of what I said during the strengths, I just wanted to put it in all three, honestly, guys. So yeah, and also a weakness is him also being dad by CT. At number five, I got Cory Wharton. Only guy's last name I've said, but yeah, I got Cory. I just gotta look at like what he's done. Mostly, that's what it is for Cory. Is that what he's done? It's like, in my opinion, other people maybe I agree. It's just what he's done. It just pushes him above people like Fessy and I guess maybe not CT, but I'm just going off of potential with that one. Potential, that's a big thing. Yeah, activity and potential is why he's over CT. I personally am not super high on the current CT, so that's probably why I got to put Cory ahead of him. And like I said, it's what Cory has done for me recently that makes me feel like I got to put him up here. Finished second in two of his last three seasons. He's also performed really well, in my opinion, in his last three finals. And he's also been a consistently strong daily performer since Total Madness, one of the top four daily performers in every season he's top four to five. I'll say top five male daily performers, which is not that impressive, but it's strong, obviously. And he's a very strong athlete, maybe top 10 currently of the athletes in the show. And though he's not the smartest, I've seen him fluke some mental shit. I think he can fluke some mental shit and get it done, right? And since Total Madness, Cory has just been better politically in terms of his standing than he was in his real TYB days. And on top of that, during USA 2, I think he really showed that he can be a very big political player. And I see him translating that into the next couple performances that he has on the challenge. And then in terms of weaknesses, I would have to say it's obviously puzzles and math. Like I said, I think he can fluke some shit, which is why I was debating if I want to put it in neutral, but it's still a weakness for Cory. I got to. Look, now my monitor. Yeah, and my computer is super freaking loud right now, guys. But we're gonna just push to get this video done real quick because I am really close to being done, and I'm not gonna wait to do this. But yeah, at number four, we have Theo. And a big reason that Theo is obviously this high on the list because of his strong performances that he's had in the three seasons that he's performed on. But even on World Championships, he was a pretty strong daily performer. Yeah, and he's shown on the War of the World Series that he is a strong competitor. So it's not really using like just that back there. It's just me knowing that he is that level of a competitor and then him still coming on world championships and not really looking, he didn't really look worse. It's not that he looked great and he was winning a whole bunch of dailies. Like, no, yeah, they didn't win, really didn't straight up really win any dailies actually. Like, but he competed well. I think that's just, everything came out of partners and things like that. And I ain't saying Sarah was terrible, but I think that Theo was a higher level male than Sarah was for the females, I would honestly argue. I think his biggest weaknesses are definitely his math and his swimming. I don't really know if math is a real weakness for him, but I definitely think swimming is. Not like he's a terrible, like low level swimmer, like where he's just getting cooked on every swimming challenge, but he's definitely not, you know, nothing crazy, nothing to write home about in the swimming category. So yeah, that's why I gotta have him at number four. This video is gonna have so many crazy background noise at this point. I got this going on and so many planes. But yeah, let's get it done, man. I'm at the top three. At number three, we got Kyland. And I know this is probably a hot take. And this is one that I'm kind of like I'm betting on him to show me because I already felt like coming into Battle for the Champion he was going to be one of the top performers, but he did further he did exceed my expectations. I do think that he definitely exceeded my expectations. I didn't think he was going to be, you know, in my opinion, a top two or three guy on the season, but I would say Just because I haven't done my full analyzation and nothing is concrete, obviously, he was a top four male competitor, right? And then just like Kylan is extremely well rounded. Like my big thing is obviously we haven't seen him do it against the really experienced players, so I think that could be an issue. That's why I have experience as a weakness. But what he's shown that he can do on the two seasons he's been on of the challenge, whether they are flagship or whether they are against the elite of the elite, like he's shown that he can literally do almost anything at a decent level. At least he's not incapable of anything, and I think that some things just translate no matter what. If you're able to do something, it just translates. Him being able to do puzzles, him being able to do math, him being able to swim and not being a terrible swimmer, him being, you know what I'm saying, like good at him being able to keep up with Horacio and keep up with Emmanuel and keep up with Ed, keep up with Coriel. Like maybe not as much Coriel, but all these other dudes that have been on seasons with these vets and competed very well and competed up there with them. Like Emmanuel, Ed, and Horacio clearly have done that on SLA and on Ride or Die. So for Kylan to show his level on there with them like that, on top of Kylan showed some on USA One where you can obviously even translate that to the fact that Tyson is clearly a good competitor. I don't really have to see him be on the flagship to know he's a good competitor. Like, is he physical? Like in a physical elimination? Nah, but some other players that aren't great for physical elimination that are good challengers, right? And then same with like Danny. Danny's clearly a good challenger. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was able to compete with those dudes. So, and they were able to compete with the vets. So in my mind, I don't really think that it's something that needs to be seen 100% to concrete. Say he's a great competitor, but I do think that how high I think he could be on this list, I got to see him play against the experienced players before I start making those type of takes. But yeah, politics could be an issue for him because he is new to the game, but also he's someone that doesn't really give a damn. You're gonna say whatever he feels on his mind, right? Um, that could be an issue, but he also is a big brother player, and he's also someone that is gonna play the political aspect. So I could see that also working in his favor for sure. At number two, we got my boy Troy. I don't know if this is a surprise. I feel like this list is going to be surprising to some people. I guess that don't really analyze the challenge that deeply. But to me, I feel like Troy, his level as a competitor pushes. To me, being a competitor is the more important thing. But obviously, politics are almost half the game. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, yeah, it's half the game, quote unquote, but it's like almost half the game in my mind, right? So my mic is picking up crazy good right now, yo. But yeah, I would say that it is like arguable that he was the best male performer on world championships. He also has been shown in his seasons that he's very well rounded, both athletically and like with puzzles and stuff like that. And politically, he's there. Like he's not terrible politically. He will play the political side of the game. He played it a little bit on Aussie. It obviously was more social, but you know what I'm saying. And then experience obviously would be his issue. I think that for him, size too. I don't know why I didn't put size because he's a small guy, and that does matter in a lot of eliminations. It's not like he's like Derek or something like that, which he did give me Derek vibes in that one elimination that he did on Australian Challenge, the physical one, that paddle bowl or whatever. Right, he did good there. So I do see a lot from Troy in terms of being well rounded, being a really strong competitor. And the thing is about Troy really hasn't had the opportunity to come back to the show yet. It wouldn't make sense for him to be on 40. Wouldn't make sense for him to be on All Stars, and he couldn't be on um 39. So it's not really an inactivity thing for him. And that's kind of what makes me think, okay, we will and he hasn't also straight up said, from what I know, maybe I haven't paid enough attention, but he hasn't straight up said like he won't really be on the challenge like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he hasn't said like, oh, I won't come on, or it won't be something you know what I'm saying? Like, so I definitely got to have him on this list at number two. I think we all know who number one is, and he's a step below this player just based off of like physical. I would say, in my opinion, I think it's based off of one being more physical and one being more experienced. That's just what it is. So let's just go ahead. Was this ever a question? I don't think this was ever really a question. I think Coming into this list, I think everyone when they seen it was just males. It was gonna be Jordan. I think even if it was counting females, probably would have still been Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the goats in a lot of people's minds. One of the best players of all time for sure, without a doubt. I don't really got to say too much. He recently was a top performer on world championships and killed it on Brighter Eyes, though he did lose multiple eliminations. And honestly, it seems like he's almost more active now than he was in the beginning of his career. I mean, in the middle of his career, which is crazy. And then I feel like he arguably has the best skill set for the challenge. Him having great high level endurance, agile, fast, pretty smart. Like he's ingenuitive. Um, Good hand-eye coordination. A lot of stuff that Jordan is good at. It's just like something that's perfect for the challenge, and him being a great swimmer, and him also being a pretty decent eater. Like he has a great skill set for the challenge, and that's why he's been able to succeed so much because he is one of the more perfect prototypical like competitors. Like if you're building a competitor, you're gonna build someone like Jordan. You know what I'm saying? If you're building the best competitor possible, you're gonna build like CT or Jordan or something like that, or Alton. You know what I'm saying? Or Landon. Like you're gonna build one of those guys because the stuff they can do is like, you know what I mean? It's not what everybody they've done stuff that everybody else can't do. You know what I'm saying? Uh when I'm looking at neutral, I definitely think that Jordan's size is a neutral thing because it benefits him in a lot of stuff, but it also can hurt him in physical eliminations, which I'm not like I don't really care about that much, but I feel like I got to put it in neutral because it can affect him. And same with his disability. I think that his disability, obviously, we all know mentally what it's done for him. It drove him to be as good as he is. He probably wouldn't be as good as he is if he wasn't disabled, right? But I think that in the game, it's like it doesn't really affect him enough for me to say it's a weakness. It just doesn't, you know. But it doesn't help him enough. Like like it does still make challenges sometimes harder. So I got to put it in neutral. I can't put it in strength. Obviously I can't just gloss over and act like it doesn't exist. It does exist. So I got to put it in neutral. And he's the best competitor and the best current challenger in my opinion. I think he is the best player all around. It's pretty clear coming into this, but like I said, the separation between him and Troy is mainly just the fact that he's bigger than Troy, and he has more experience than Troy, and he's obviously proven himself more than Troy, but that's not really what I'm really looking at. Um, but yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys agree with this list, and if not, go ahead and put your ranking in the comments, and what do you guys think of Troy being at 2? What do you guys think of Kylan being at 3? What do you guys think of Jordan being at 1? And the rest of the list, give me all your opinions of my list in the comments. And make sure you guys stay tuned because next week I will be releasing the same exact video, but the female version. And I know you guys want to see where I ranked. I ain't even gonna give you guys no names. I ain't even gonna give you guys no names, but I know you guys want to see where I ranked. Insert your favorite female if she's even on the list. But yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Push the notification bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new lit banger. And I will see you guys next week. Peace.